Welcome to another episode of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the show that asks the questions that you should be asking but may not be asking. The show that brings you the information so that you can be enabled to make more informed decisions for both you and your family. Again, welcome to another episode of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. On today's show, we have two special guest speakers with us from Josie's House of Help, an amazing organization. Lady and gentlemen, please introduce yourself.
Mrs. Cook, the founder.
And my name is Austin Everett. I am one of the volunteers for Josie's House of Help.
Well, again, welcome to our show. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you were able to show up today.
What an honor to be asked and invited. Thank
Oh,
you.
well, wonderful. Thank you. You said that your name is Miss Davina Cook.
That's correct.
That's not Josie's House of Help. Where did the name Josie's House of Help come from?
Josie's House of Help came from my granny that passed away in 2009. I wanted to create a nonprofit that showed what she actually did.
Okay. And what did she actually do?
My grandmother was the master of taking little and making much. And she would help in any type of way, whether it was keeping children, whether it was baking, whether it was a fundraiser. She was a person who I admired tremendously. And I wanted to have a nonprofit where I did the same. I gave back in any way as possible.
Okay.
And then for me, as a volunteer, unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to meet her grandmother, but I certainly have a relationship with Davina and her mom, and I can see in them their ethics and their value system that they got from their grandmother. And it was inspiring to me to the point where, I wanted to be hands-on and active in making sure that Josie's House of Help was a success to the community it serves.
Okay, that's nice. That was very nice of
Thank
you. So, how and when did Josie's House of Help get started?
Josie's House of Help actually got started in 2010, but we actually became a nonprofit in 2015.
Okay. But you were actively working in the community since 2010.
Yes, and before that, but I didn't know it was a name for it.
I hear
Yes.
that. So, what is the mission of Josie's House of Help?
In a nutshell, our mission is to help those in need.
Mm.
That is our mission. We try to find ways to give a leg up. We understand that we can't do it all, but just being able to help someone meet that need goes a long way.
Yes, it does. Now, when you say you try to help those in need, is that it's so vast, there's so many areas. So what areas do you try to at least cover?
Particularly, we try to do, like I said, our Thanksgiving senior giveaway. We have our food pantry. We help out with school supplies, backpacks, different things to try to be that lending hand to a parent or a grandparent or someone who needs food. We try to see where we can fill in the gaps.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then I think another added value that we want to add as a nonprofit organization when we did our Valentine's Day
Absolutely.
Party with one of the senior communities. It was just absolutely phenomenal to watch some of these older citizens who didn't give Valentine's Day a second thought, where we had food and music and we fellowshiped and we interacted and we had giveaways. And I tell you, that was probably the second thing greatest to Christmas that particular day. It was a wonderful success. Wonderful
Wow,
success.
that's nice. So for those that want to join in the mission, that wants to support the mission, how can they go about doing that?
As far as volunteering, we're always needing people to come out and help out with our Thanksgiving giveaways, our senior, different things that we actually do. So they can volunteer, they also can actually give. We accept donations by PayPal, which is Josie's House of Help at gmail.com, or you can mail in a payment to P.O. Box 585373, Orlando, Florida 32858.
And then we also absolutely welcome any type of corporate sponsorships. We are a very small nonprofit, so money is important. Volunteering is important. There are so many people out here who are so gratefully blessed and want to give back to the community and don't know where to start. start with Josie's House of Help. Was more than glad to help to take you.
I hear that. I hear that. And for the record, as far as the volunteers are concerned, there is a stipend that the government grants for those that are willing to volunteer. It is a small stipend, but if you're willing to volunteer, consider Josie's House of Help and any other nonprofit for that matter, and you will get that stipend. We'll give some more information about that when you contact our office. And if anything, just do it for the love of it, you know, because they're doing something that's great in the community. So any kind of support is very, very appreciated. So you guys, I'm so glad of what you guys are doing. We know that for 2020, everybody's talking about 2020 vision, you know. So what is the vision for Josie's House of Help for 2020?
The vision that we have is to be more of a service to those in need. Not to be a crutch, but to really lend that helping hand to get them to the next level. That is the vision.
Right. And then tied to that and associated with that is also to gain more community exposure. Again, we are a small nonprofit organization, and there are so many larger organizations here that are doing wonderful things. However, and they have the other additional resources that we don't have the benefit of having. So that really is going to be one of our goals, is to find other community-based nonprofit organizations, sponsor and partner with them. You know, there is growth in numbers, there is strength in numbers. So, you know, when we come together as a group, imagine the wonderful things that we can accomplish as opposed to struggling individually when we come together to support the community.
That's so true. That's so true. What advice would you give to other nonprofits that are struggling, or other people that want to start a nonprofit? What advice would you give to them?
The advice that I would give to a person who has a nonprofit is don't stop. Is that you always have to find a way. You ask people. Never give up. If that is your purpose and you feel that there is a desire to do it, find a way. For someone who wants to start a nonprofit who can't right now, there's no problem with volunteering, joining. Then you can see where your niche is. You grow separately. And then when you get your nonprofit, you'll be more of a greater to those who you serve.
And then and also start with the having in mind, there are barriers. There are going to be bumps in the road. And like Davina said, you can't give up. It's like any other venture in life. When things get hard, you have to go harder. You know,
Absolutely.
if money is tight, you know, we do it in our own household. My mom and dad can make $1 out of 15 cents if they
Right.
needed to make sure that we have what we
Absolutely.
need. And we do that. You know, if we see that there are limited funds, if there are limited resources, we go out here and we shake the trees. We call on our friends. We call on our family members. You know, we do what we need to do to be successful.
That is so true. For this year, what events, what programs do you guys foresee happening through Josie's House of Help?
One of them that we have is a summer job placement that is offered through the state. It is offered to kids that are between the ages of 14 and 21 years old. It is a 3-day boot camp where we teach the kids job placement training. They have to have a disability, and they have to be either on a 504 plan or a IEP plan.
Okay, you said 504 and IEP. For those watching that has no idea as to what a 504 or IEP plan is, can you elaborate on that?
Yes, a 504 plan and an IEP plan is a plan that is worked out between the student, the parent, and the school counselor. And if a child has a disability, the parent will bring proof of the disability, and the school is going to create a plan that will help that child to study better or to like accommodate them so that they can be the best student that they can be.
Okay, when you say disability,
Right.
Ms. Cook, a lot of people think disability is something that can be seen. Okay, can you please elaborate just a little on that word, on the terminologies of disability, so that people, because there are parents that have children that are disabled, but don't even know, so they can't even benefit from this particular program. So when you say disability, can you please, again, elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, first, if your child has a disability or you think your child has a disability, of course you have to go to the doctor to make sure that what you're thinking is valid. And if it's something that is not visible and it's something that has to do with learning, then what happens is that you will, like I said, go to the doctor and get documentation on it. it's so many different disabilities to where I can't really name them all. But if a parent has any inkling of a disability, talk to the counselor, talk to their doctor, get the documentation, go back to the counselor, get the 504 or IEP plan put in place. There's nothing wrong with your child having a disability and you having this paper. That piece of paper is golden.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to add, and you did articulate that very well, is that a lot of people don't realize there are disabilities that are not physical. And then there's also societal stigmas.
Yes.
Even the children don't want to be labeled as having a disability. But the purpose of this program isn't to cast a spotlight on these individuals, but it's really to cast a net to capture these individuals and give them the additional support that they need to be successful. And it's just that simply put. We have students out here in the IEP, the individual educational plan. We have students who, a lot of students are just cast in a classroom. They're sitting with 30, 40 other students. They're struggling. They don't ask for help because they're embarrassed or they're afraid they're going to be laughed at. And they get home and they give up. They don't attempt to do their homework. They don't understand it. And what we want to do is during the summer months, we really want to create a program that's going to help lift them and close that gap from when summer starts to when the school year begins, and add something in there that will help stimulate thought processes, that will help them determine, what do I want to be when I grow up? What does the next chapter or the next phase of my life looks like? Our society has changed so much that at 14, I wasn't worried about that. But now you have to start preparing early. You have to tap into my strengths. I have to understand what it is that excites me. What are my areas of strengths? What are my areas of weaknesses? And when we can identify those things, we're setting our students and our children up for greater success.
That's so true, because we see that a lot of children, they don't make it because they get discouraged.
They get discouraged.
They're afraid of being laughed at.
Absolutely.
Or being called slow.
Absolutely.
And they just don't get it.
They don't get
But
it.
with this program, there's actually additional help for them.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I like it. But now there's something else that this program offers that I thought was just wow. You guys offer a stipend at the end.
Yes, we offer a small stipend to compensate the kids because we understand that they're not able to work, and we want to make it worth their while.
Absolutely.
And it also helps the parents with school clothes, or they need to get their haircuts or their hair done. So it's a win-win for everybody. Where we teach them about job placement skills and not to focus on their disabilities but their abilities, then it helps to boost up their confidence in the job world. So a confident person goes a long way.
Absolutely.
You're preaching now.
and added to that really is it's interactive. I think that, and I can remember one student who came for the stipend, and they thought that showing up was going to guarantee the stipend, and it does not. You have to show up. You have to be present. You have to be interactive. You have to be engaged. Just showing up and sitting there and on your phone and some of the other challenges that we experienced on the process, they were difficult to navigate because some of us aren't educators and we're not in that arena. So some of it was new to us in dealing with. But it was really interesting. It was such an eye-opener, I think you'll agree, to understand and to watch them overcome some of their own challenges. There was a young lady who would not make eye contact. She was so shy. I mean, she just sat there. But then when we did the vision board, which is what I absolutely love the most, it's we have a board and we give them magazines and we ask them to, in their mind's eye, what do you want to look like? What do you want to be when you grow up? What does your life look like as a successful adult? And we let them create their own vision board. No guidance, no help. We just give them the magazines and we say have at it. And then not only that, they present the vision board and they have to explain or point out, what does this picture mean? What does this represent? And you have to also take it past the physical pieces. Well, this is just a big house. We have students that said, here's a home that I would love to be able to get for my mom and my brothers and sisters because we live, in a 2-bedroom house and there's 4 of us. So it's wonderful to see the passion, to see the connection when it makes sense in their head.
Yes. That's awesome. That's one that I know of. But you also have a college program?
Yes, we also are going to host our 2nd annual Dorm Essential College giveaway. It's geared towards children who are going off to college. We want to be that leg up to help that parent and that student to have the basics to just to go to college. Just bedding, your sheets, your kitchenware. Those things seem little, but when you're working off of little, anything helps out. And that's what we are doing this year.
Absolutely. And then the other added value with that is, when you go to college, we worry about tuition and books and fees. While that is a huge responsibility, there are other smaller things that are significantly important. Things that our students didn't have to worry about because mom bought detergent, mom bought bedding.
Isn't that the truth?
So now
Absolutely.
they're out there independent and on their own, and now being able to have that as a little carry-up, takeaway, and a parting gift from high school
Absolutely.
to college. It's phenomenal. They understand. Now I have detergent. Now I have a comfort. I have sheets. I think we gave away a television. And all of the things
printer.
that we just take for granted, it takes on its whole own entity when you have to do it independently without that safety net of your parents there 24/7.
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
just awesome to me.
It is. It is.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
imagine, again, as a volunteer, being a part of it, watching the hard work that the board of directors, that the president goes through, and then being able to say, hey, here's a set of additional hands to help
Absolutely.
make this come to fruition.
Yes, yes. That is awesome.
But the reward is also mine. I promise you. The
That
reward
is
also
awesome.
mine.
Oh, wow. So for students that are seniors,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this year, and wants to, what do they have to do? Are there pre-qualifications to even
There
get
are
it?
qualifications. They can visit our Facebook page, which is Josie's House of Help. We have a flyer that is going up, and it tells you what to turn in and when it's actually due.
Okay. Okay, so once they do that, then they qualify?
No, they don't qualify. What happens is that we have a two-month period where we're going to have judges that are going to look for certain things. We are going to service 20 children this year.
Okay.
So what happens is that if we get a lot of applications, they're going to filter through, the judges will filter through the applications and see, based on the requirements and what we're looking for, who will move forward to the next step. As to coming to our big, we have like a little party where we give out the events, we have speakers, and we feed the kids that come out, the parents come out, they get to meet me, they get to meet my board, and any volunteers that actually come out. So it's a big event for us.
Okay, that's great.
Right.
Yes.
And then like any other process, we aren't guaranteed to reach the masses. So we certainly want you to go onto the website, josieshouseofhelp.org, or go onto our Facebook page, Josie's House of Help. Inbox us, email us, we will respond. If you just have a general question, if you can't find a flyer, if you don't know what the IEP 504 program means, if we don't have it, we can certainly point you in the direction to help you get that information so that you have a
Absolutely.
better understanding of the programs that you're wanting to have your children participate in.
Okay. That's amazing because we did a show recently where we discussed the essays and how much these children can benefit from writing a simple essay. So with your program, I'm just wondering, is an essay required?
It is, but it's very simple. It's 150 words.
Oh, wow.
Tell me, what is the importance of college?
That's it.
Simply put.
Simply put, because I want to know, you have to know why is it important for you to attend college and to finish. So in that essay, you look for certain things. It's not just I'm going because my parents want me to. You have to want to go because you want to finish. So it's very simple.
I hope if you're watching, you're actually not just watching, but you're paying attention. Because what she just shared is very important. Not just wanting to go to college because your parents says so, but you want to. You actually want to achieve something. And what they're offering is just amazing to me. I hope you can take advantage of this information that we're sharing. If you don't have a child in school, maybe you have a friend or a family member, share this information with them. Because you guys are amazing. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. I love your organization. What is one of the most difficulties that you guys face right now with Josie's House of Help?
One of the difficulties, I'm going to be honest, is finding committed, dedicated volunteers is one, and board members. Finding committed, dedicated board members who not only get out in the trenches and work, but also give, because we have a something that's built into it where each board member has to, raise a certain amount of money, and just being able to find people that have the same vision too, because you'll get a board member, they'll come in, to try to do their own thing, but you want committed, dedicated, hardworking board members and volunteers. That is the challenges that we face. We've overcame them and we continue to overcome them, but that has been a challenge for us.
And then I also think, again, here we are again, sponsorships and donations.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have so many things that we would love to do. There are so many individuals in our communities that need so much help, but we can only do so much based on the resources that we have.
True.
So, I mean, we don't want this to be about money, but it certainly is a driving factor in being successful in meeting the needs of our community population.
As far as partnership is concerned, you mentioned that earlier, you're looking for partners. Now, that can be a little tricky. Okay, so what areas are you looking for partnership in?
Our food bank partnership to be able to not just service senior homes, but being able to service more and more people. That's one area. Another area is our outreach activities, because like we can do so much, but if we join in with other people, like-minded people who have the same goal, we can reach the masses.
And then and again, when we talk about the partnerships, if there is a smaller organization, we may come to their event and be a guest speaker. We may come and just be an extra set of hands. We may come, like we sat here with you today and we learned about some additional financial resources. We may be able to share information. We may work with a program that has a student that's on an IEP and who may not be aware, and we can partner with those communities. Again, there's strength in numbers.
It's amazing that from my standpoint, what I find is that although God's math is different, for God, 1 and 1 may equal 1,000.
Absolutely.
Where for us, 1 and 1 is just 2.
Absolutely.
I find that a lot of nonprofits don't want to share resources. It's like you're taking from them.
Absolutely.
No, they don't understand how God's math works.
Exactly.
So with the partnership, I do understand where you're coming from. And what they don't understand also is that these people that give out these grants, they want to see collaboration.
Absolutely.
They want to see nonprofits get together with one vision. You may be different organizations, but you have something in common, so that you can get that grant. And it's unfortunate that every organization want a piece of the pie for themselves, So I'll be sharing some more resources with you guys later on.
Thank you.
Okay, because I love what you're doing. I really, really, really like what you're doing. And I'm sure that those that are watching, will definitely benefit from what you guys are doing out here. And you've been doing this, you said, since 2010, but 2015 is when you actually became a nonprofit. It takes dedication.
It does.
Determination. And I know that the road gets bumpy, but yahoo for you guys.
Listen, there is much to be said about the power of desire. When you desire to be successful, when you desire a specific outcome, and when you let your desire drive your actions and your behaviors, there's no one and nothing that can stop you.
Absolutely.
That's so true. Amen to that. Amen to that. I'm going to give you an opportunity to say anything else that you would like to say. For the public, those that are watching, our viewers, anything that you would like for them to hear about Josie's House of Help. Ms. Davina Cook, I'll let you go first, and then I'll let your faithful volunteer. I can't believe you got a volunteer to come on the show. That's just amazing. So, Ms. Cook, please.
The one thing that I would like everybody to know is that Josie's House of Help do everything from the spirit of love. God is love, and we understand that whether it's us helping a student or having an outreach, everything comes from the heart. It comes from my heart, and it trickles down to my board, to the volunteers, to us purchasing items. Everything is dealt through love.
Thank you.
And I think for me, from a volunteer perspective, I am so incredibly blessed. And with those blessings come responsibilities. And my responsibility is to share God's blessing. I don't like to use the word less fortunate, but I do want to be able to help people who may be challenged in other areas and opportunities in their life. If I can help with a testimony, if I can help with an action, if I can help with a donation, if I can help with a presence, all of those things add some type of value to someone who may be struggling, someone who doesn't know where to turn, someone who may be actually ready to give up. If I can spark any type of positive action, reaction, cry, I feel like that I have given back to God tenfold.
You guys just keep preaching and preaching and preaching. I'm so glad you
It's
guys
easy to preach
came.
about the things that are real.
Absolutely.
It is
Yes.
easy to preach about the
Absolutely.
things that are meaningful. It is easy to preach about the things that matter. I'm going to sort of go back a little bit when we talked about being a smaller organization. One of the other benefits that I love about being able to volunteer for Josie's House of Help is we're there with the masses. We are boots on the ground. We get to see the people who we help be grateful, cry, who are so thankful for maybe a very small donation, but it was something they didn't have. I get to see, I get to get the hugs. We get to experience running out of supplies sometimes, and there's frustration there. But it lets us know that people need our services. It's wonderful, and this may sound funny, but it's wonderful to be at an event and you run out of supplies, because that means people need these supplies. People want these supplies. People know that Josie's House of Help is there to help them.
Absolutely.
So when we run out of stuff, I feel accomplished.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We feel accomplished.
Absolutely.
Wow. You guys, thank you.
No, thank you.
What you guys are doing is truly amazing, and I'm so glad you came on today's show. I truly, truly am. As you've heard today on Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Josie's House of Help is there to help those in need. You have their contact info. If you need help, contact them. Until next time for another episode of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, take care of yourself.